I was a boy, both my parents worked. It was unusual for the times, as most married women stayed home. But to make ends meet, my mother got a job as a secretary in an auto plant office, and my father worked at a factory in downtown Omaha. Those were the bad days. My father's father had been a farmer, but he sold the farm before he died so his children could finish high school. My mother's father, who I called Granddad, had a pension from the auto plant and a house he owned outright. Other than that, we were dirt poor. So during the days when I didn't have school, they left me with my granddad. He was boring. I was young, and he was full of lessons. And not even how to catch a fish or sharpen a blade kind of lessons. He was all about minding. "Stay out of the neighbor's yard, boy," he'd say. "And mind your own yard. That's how you make good neighbors." I remember one day, we were sitting on the porch, him in his chair, a-rockin', and me on a small stool next to him, when this man I never saw before walked by the house. My granddad waved, and sure enough, he gave us a wave back. "That's Jack, boy. Now you say hello." I said, "Hello, Jack," and then tugged on my granddad's sleeve. "Granddad," I said, "he has a knife." And he said, "You mind your manners, boy. If you keep out of folks' business, you make good neighbors." After Jack had walked away, he added, "But just so's you know, Jack's a butcher." Granddad patted his belly and looked up and licked his lips. "He sells the best ham in town." The next day we were sitting on the porch, and Granddad was a-rockin'. Another man I never saw before walks by and he waves. My granddad says, "Now that's Steve, boy. Say hello." I forgot my manners and asked, "What's the saw for?" My granddad turned to me and through smiling teeth he said, "I told you, boy, leave a man to his business and you make good neighbors. Now you say hello." I said, "Hello, Steve," and he says hello right back. Once Steve was out of earshot, Granddad said to me, "Now if you'd met the man proper like, he might have told you he's an undertaker." "Undertaker?" I said, confused. I'd never heard of such a thing. "He's a coffin maker," Granddad explained. I looked down at my feet and said meekly, "So I guess he needs the saw for work?" My granddad patted me on the head. "That's right, boy. Now go fetch my pipe." A few days later, we were sitting on the porch again. There came Jack and Steve, carrying a big wooden box with rope handles out of either end. The box was shaking with the weight of it, and they seemed to be struggling even between the two of them. I looked at my granddad, mouth just ready for catching flies. But before I could say a word, he shook his head. He stood up and walked to and leaned on the rail that lined the porch, and asked, "Hey, Jack, what you got in the box?" Jack smiled. "About 5'2", stacked, blonde, not local, and still kicking." My granddad turned around and smiled down at me with a knowing look. "And that, boy, is why you make good neighbors. I can ask 'cause I knows 'em. I minded my business till we became friends. You understand?" I nodded slowly. He up and started walking after him. He was halfway down the lane to the street when he turns to me. "Now you stay here, boy. Make sure that porch don't fly away." I had learned my lesson. I minded my own business. I never asked him what was in the box. And the hand that he brought home for dinner that night was delicious.